every single person that you've heard today has 1 to 3 issues that they are wrecking their brain to solve. Like there's 1 to 3 things for each of us that we are trying to figure out that didn't quite go like we wanted or hasn't really panned out yet. And the only differentiation is that we're just going to keep going because we have a history that tells us that when every time we kept going, we figured it out. So you need to be able to develop that muscle.
This is the Online Trainer Show, Trainer Show, Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.
I am so disappointed, you guys. Where's your flair?
What are you disappointed with? Because we're not wearing sparkly reindeer ears. Is that what you're disappointed?
Our lack of flair.
Very sad. Where's the flair?
Well, I've got 21 pieces of flair. I kind of think you don't get what I'm saying here. Look at Janice. She's got more flair. She's fun. Look at her. Do I need 22?
I got 99 problems, but lack of flair ain't one.
Yeah, like a flair ain't one. I don't think
Carolina got that reference, Ren.
I think she did. If she spoke of flair, I've never heard it referenced in any other context except the movie Office Space. Is that where you got that?
Yes, Jennifer Aniston and the flair.
Okay.
The flair. It was all about the flair.
Yeah. I've never heard it referenced from any other source. I don't know why things are so yellow on this end, but I got my camera back, and I think I need to reset some things. Like it's like I'm in a post-apocalyptic scene. The mushroom cloud is in it, and
like a Mad Max.
Yeah.
It's a very Mad Max.
It's like 100 days after the nuclear holocaust scene, and now everything's yellow. It's one of those great. Who's famous for the lens flare? There's a director who always uses lens flare. I can't remember who it is. Is it Michael Mann?
Tarantino uses it a fair bit. Quentin Tarantino uses it in his movies.
Some sci-fi guy that uses the lens flare all the time, but there's another guy. I think Michael Mann always has the sort of the filter, the yellowish. Yeah, that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm in one of his productions.
It's called The Simpsons. Yeah, I think it's called The Simpsons.
I look a little Bartish today. It's a little Bart Simpson.
I just want to congratulate us. Without even trying, we spent the first 5 minutes of this podcast chatting about physical appearances. I'm really true to form. We have completely abused the medium through which we're recording. And I think Carolina is to fault primarily for that by showing up with reindeer ears. And Amber is just putting up with it, like always.
If I can be frank,
I think choice at this point.
The medium deserves to be abused. Sorry for the say. That's what the medium gets for allowing us to get onto it. Can't blame a shark for biting your ass.
At least we're not poorly interviewing people, asking them the same question that every single other person that's ever spoken to that. Oh, so take us back to where it all began. What's the story? How did it start? It's like,
well, Karen, if you had read my blog, if you knew anything about my bio.
I feel like we can do better than this, guys.
I've got papers so I can look official. I look official on the podcast right now.
I look very official right now.
You do,
yeah, that's true.
You do, Keto. So, Jonathan, your internet seems to be amazing today. Like, what's going on there? You got your double router?
Who did you pay off in Mexico? This is corruption. I can tell you right now. You paid someone off.
He's done something.
we figured out what the problem is at our unit. The problem with our internet is actually legitimately just with our unit. There's 26 units in the complex that we're staying in. It's just our unit, and it has to do with the phone line going to our unit, like the individual line going to our unit somehow got corrupted. Like that one line. So hopefully it'll be fixed, but also it's Mexico, so everything's mañana.
Yes.
Everything. It's like, oh, when are you going to come? Like,
ahorita.
I need that shirt.
Hey, cell phone. Oh yeah, you need a shirt that says mañana.
Everything's mañana. Everything.
Hey, when am I going to get my workout? Mañana.
Yeah, everything's mañana.
True to form, I went to the gym yesterday and today. I go there when it opens, which is 7:00, which is also true to form in Mexico. Like the gym opens at 7, and that's insane.
The earliest.
Like coffee shops don't open until 8:00 in the morning. And so, yeah, but true to form, like the gym, just nobody showed up to open it the last 2 days, and it's just how it is. And so somebody just showed up at 7:30 this morning and opened it. So I was able to get my work in.
And like, what you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
like,
there's nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not even. You can't even be upset. You're just like, oh, mañana. I'll work out mañana. You know, it's just how it is. I'm at a friend's place. Is what's up. As
Keto's coworker,
okay.
This explains a lot of her workplace behavior. Like I'm really getting clued in now to what her workplace behaviors have been over the course of this year, or not 9 months. However long we've been doing this, I don't know. It seems like forever at this point. Where are we? We're like, I know, Amber, it's not important because it'll be on the podcast information.
Yeah, it'll be written on the thing, and it'll be written in the titles, written on the thing, so we don't even need to talk about it.
Take 3 more minutes to talk about how we don't need to talk about it.
I like how when we were talking about the topic for this episode, we had like in our Slack channel, there was a whole conversation of like 18 messages of different topics and stuff like that we were talking about. And then after we've decided, like 5 messages after that, we make a note that Carolina was absent from the entire conversation. And then she just writes one message that's like 3 words that was like, it's okay, guys, I've been watching. It's
right.
That's not participating. That is not productively participating in the conversation.
I mean, I feel like you were handling it well, all of you. So like, I'll let them, they got this. It's all right. I trust you guys. I'm just supervising, right?
Oh my gosh. I feel that way about so many things that I look in on. I'm like, all right, they got it. Yeah, those 2 people will revive that lady that's passed out. I'm gonna go get a donut. It was a great commentary, Keto. We felt better. Well, I know I did, knowing that you were watching.
Yes, like you're guarding Nenjo. You know how it is.
Yes, and it was. I think it's also comforting that you were not actively participating. If I can say that, I hope we're friends enough. I hope we reached that point where I can say that it's probably best that you were not contributing information. I think the flow of the information was a little bit better. In your happy, aggressive. In your happy, I've got the microaggressions going. In your happy absence, knowing you were there was enough for me. Like the Lord,
incredibly aggressive.
Like the Lord in heaven. You don't really gotta talk, just know you're there. That's enough for me. May not want to talk, actually, I gotta be honest, biblically, a lot of people that talk right to God, they didn't have great stories. Like there was, it sort of ruined their weekend. I'll put it that way. So I'm okay knowing that you're there. Who knows what Moses was going to do that weekend? I mean, am I right? He gets roped into. I don't want to get too biblical here. It's too much.
I want to call something out.
Angry letters.
So,
yeah.
So the episode that went live today was the first episode we recorded when I was in Mexico, and my internet cut out for like half of it. We had to tell a story that was a hilarious story. If you missed this episode, what number was it? Does anybody know?
Only Amber knows.
Amber's going to check. Amber will check. If you missed 61. You really want to hear this story. Was it 61?
It was 61.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 61.
So if you missed it, you're going to want to go back and listen to episode 61 for the story, because it's like the best thing that's ever happened to me in my professional career. It still makes me laugh. But
and that's sad. That's sad by itself.
It is and it isn't. I mean, it's a pretty awesome thing to happen. And so I wanted to be there when this story got told. And when my internet cut off, Len had to fill time. And I just want to call out Len for how amazing of a job, because I wasn't there for it, right? Like my internet was cut out. I didn't know what he was saying for that part of it. He filled that space like such an infomercial expert. Because all that you need to do on an infomercial is you got to just keep talking for like 30 minutes about the same product over and over and over and over again, and they'll just not be silent. And if you've ever tried that, it is a very difficult thing to do. Like, can you talk for 30 minutes without a break, without any blank space about these sunglasses?
I probably could.
You probably could. It's legitimately really difficult to do, and Ren did a very good job of that. So I just want to call that out.
Let me just say that Amber was no help in that situation. Yeah, I go straight to Amber. We're talking about pancakes. Obviously, both of you like pancakes, and the rule in improv is yes and. Amber was absolutely 100% no stop. That was her reply. No stop. Yeah. I'm looking for a yes and from Amber. So obviously you both like pancakes. Amber just starts shaking her head emphatically no. Nope. Don't like pancakes at all. Got nothing to say about pancakes. Pass it over to Carol. And then she muted her mic, and I think her camera turned off also. So at that point, it's just me and Keto, which I love. Keto was willing to dive into her emotional response to pancakes, and how reckless she is with pancakes, and sort of contrasted that against all of her life making decisions, really. So thank you, thank you for that, Keto.
Yes.
I don't think that's got to be the number one discussion about pancakes on any fitness or business podcast that's ever existed on the internet to this point. Nobody has dived into the pancake conundrum quite the way that we did on the Online Trainer Show. You're welcome, Lithuania.
I still don't understand why you eat them that way, though. I still don't understand why you eat them.
There's order there. Like, there's nothing better than, for me, I need to know that I've got an appropriate amount of food on each fork. Like when I go, and if I've got sort of a half-inch by half-inch square of pancake, and it's 3 deep, I know that fork's going to match perfectly. Like, it's not going to be too much pancake on the outside of the fork.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. You're clutching at straws here. I know that you've never measured your pancake squares. I know that
Jonathan.
What you are doing right now is you are trying to make it sound way more official. You're trying to make it sound way more mathematic than it's ever been for your life.
The disrespect.
And that tells me.
The sheer disrespect on this podcast. I cannot believe what an affront this is to my manhood, my humanity, my love of dogs. I'm going to be ASPCA on this because I cannot believe how you just insulted me not in front of company, Jonathan.
So let's talk about rejection.
Yeah, let's get past this. We're not going to come to an agreement here, Jonathan. This is where our friendship stops.
You and me are gonna have to get together at a Golden Griddle. I'm gonna fly to North Carolina and meet you at a Golden Griddle. We're gonna have pancakes, and then I'm gonna fly home.
That's the only way to settle this. Some disputes have to be. Some things have to be talked out in person. This is one of those things. There's too much nuance that's gonna get lost in text and in podcasting. So let's talk about your 6 years of rejection from Dr. Allison. That's what we all want to talk about here. What we're talking about today on the podcast, obviously you've read it because Amber was clever enough to put it in the description of the podcast. But what we're talking about today is just the sense of the idea of rejection in this business, or disappointment, I guess is another way to put it. We had the great post from Peter. I think I mentioned Peter Fisher the other day on another podcast. He's got a great post, I think, in OTA level students and grads or something, where essentially maybe it's OTA level 2, I don't know. Essentially what he's talking about was that and I'm sure Amber's cooking up the message right now, because Amber's so efficient. Also, Keto, your antlers look lovely. I don't know
Thank you.
I don't know what species of cloven-hoofed animal has red antlers. Sounds, hell spawn to me, but it looks great on you. It really brings out your eyes. What was I saying? So he's got this commentary where he has some rejection. And I've been dealing with this the last week in the online training space, OTA coaching. A lot of people just, putting forth effort and not feeling like the appropriate amount of return on the effort has come through, which is normal. It's normal.
Or can I stop you for a second?
Please stop me, Jonathan. Somebody needs to.
Or they're putting forth effort, and they're actually getting a disproportionately positive response to that effort.
Right.
But they don't pay attention to that because when they get one negative response,
forget all
it
about
jumps out at them and feels awful. And we're really, really, really good as species, as human beings, at dwelling on very individual, even small negative things, and very, very, very good at glossing over a whole bunch of good stuff. Hey, Jonathan Goodman here. This podcast is made possible thanks to people like you. Here's a quick word from our sponsors. Are you still trying to pick your online training software? If so, let me make this easy for you. Go with PT Distinction. It's truly the best, and I'm not just saying that because they're our sponsor. We actually use PT Distinction for our own online fitness business, online trainer coaching, and we're really happy with it. From onboarding to programming to client communication, PT Distinction has everything you need to run your online fitness business smoothly, and it's super simple to use. Now, normally they offer a free 30-day trial, but as a listener of the Online Trainer Show, you get a free 60-day trial, so you can make sure you love them before spending a dime. If you want to deliver first-class service to your clients while reclaiming your time, then visit onlinetrainer.com/PTD to sign up for your free 60-day trial today. If you're a fitness nutrition coach that's looking to master online coaching so that you can help more people, make more money, and have more freedom, then the Online Trainer Academy can help. OTA gives you the framework, knowledge, and support to have predictable success with your online coaching business. From marketing to business development to how to assess and motivate your clients online, it is constantly updated and refreshed to keep up with a dynamic market. Not only that, OTA is proven. In 7 years, we've helped over 30,000 coaches in 87 countries go online. Truth is, we know what works, so you can get right to the success part. And in case you're busy working a full-time job or you're a full-time parent, know that you can go at your own pace. There's no deadlines to complete OTA, and you have lifetime access. That said, if you are ready to make a rapid change and finish the course in the next 8 to 12 weeks, you can expect to invest 3 to 5 hours each week on the program. And here's the best part. If you join today, you will make an extra $1,000 a month in 90 days, or I'll give you your money back. So if you're ready to build the fitness business you want and make the money you deserve, go to onlinetrainer.com/academy to enroll today. And I hope to see you in there.
Keto, I'm sure you've been in this situation before. Somebody will tell you, oh, I gained half a pound. And like, has that ever happened to you? Like they come to you with the weight problem and I'm just not progressing. Talk to the people, Carol, because you may not be here next time. We don't know.
Make the best of it while I'm here.
The answer is mañana. It's always mañana. So share while you're here. What's your approach to what Jonathan just said?
I think, like he said, it's very much, and it's all across the board because it happens in every aspect of life. Like I legit the other night, like I made this beautiful like soup for my kids, and it had like organic pasta, and it's like animal shape, and they're loving it. Like they're having a fantastic time eating this. And in my head, I'm like, I made no salad. I'm a shit mom.
Right.
Like, right. And it's like, and then I caught myself. I'm like, what?
Because your kids are going to get scurvy.
Right.
I mean, I should have said it was actually a vegetable soup. It was a vegetable and noodle soup. So there was vegetables in the salad. Like it was a perfectly healthy, balanced meal. But
I'm going to see a picture of your kids if their gums are bleeding and their teeth are falling out. We got to squeeze some lime juice on that too.
He said scurvy. Oh my God. For y'all just tuning in, Keto's children are pirates. So this is from the mainland and any source of vitamin C that they've developed scurvy. Oh my gosh. If there's one word that I did not expect to hear today on the podcast, scurvy. Scurvy is probably it. Oh, it's the episode of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Here we are.
Oh my God. And yet here we are, Keto. But to Jonathan's point, I end up spending a lot of time with my clients, helping them. We're always trying to reframe, right? To use some precision nutrition language. Well, it's not PN language, but, you hear about it. We're always trying to reframe, and find the positive and, where are the wins? And in this case, there were so many wins and just a couple of pick up. Amber, do you have you got the post ready? You want to, give us the facts, Amber, because that's why I like Amber Reynolds, because we'll give you a bunch of malarkey here. Keto, Jonathan, myself, we'll give you a bunch of malarkey. Poppycock, flim flamming, jibber jabs. but Amber Reynolds gives you the facts. What are the facts in this case, Amber? We're riveted.
So I'm not sure it's the same post that you're talking about, but this one it's still Peter, and it's on point with today's topic, so it works out. So he did a post about one of his Rockstar clients and posted about a process, and went ahead and friend requested, messaged everyone who liked or commented on the post. So he ended up sending over 150 messages out to everyone who, engaged with that post.
Phenomenal.
And two of them came out punching when they responded to his message to them.
Right.
She said, "I know you're fishing for more customers right now, and I'm not interested at all. I think it's kind of awful that you're approaching women on Facebook based on their profile pictures to shake down for money because you think they're too fat. Or are you not trying to sell me your online weight loss coaching services?"
So let's recap the numbers here. So first of all, he makes a phenomenal post about his Rockstar client. Awesome. So many people respond to this post that there are 150 people that he can now reach out to. We talk about 5 people a day now, a lot of the times.
And he reached out to them respectfully.
Right. Respectfully. Out of 150 respectful messages, 2 people don't like it. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I'm glad that he posted in a group, but from that ratio of positive and negative, he posted in our group to get some feedback. It just sort of gives you an indication of what Jonathan just said about how much we concentrate on the small amount of negative.
And let's talk about like sheer brass tacks. Like he also talked about he actually converted a whole bunch of clients from that post too.
He got a lot of business.
What were the numbers, Amber?
He made money out of this, right?
Yeah, so he added 10 new people to his group and $3,900 in revenue.
And that was very early on. So the numbers are probably more than that. But I think what's a really good thing to keep in mind here is, it feels awful when this happens. And he responded well to it. I mean, he basically said like his outreach to the clients was basically saying, hey, saw that I can't remember exactly what it was, but basically oh, isn't she doing awesome?
Yeah.
Right. And then the person kicked back that message.
Right.
And it's very important to keep in mind, and it's always important to keep in mind whenever anybody kicks back something at you like that, is the stories we tell ourselves.
Right.
So the story you're telling yourself, the story Peter's telling himself, right, as the person who's receiving this message is, holy crap, am I spamming? Am I doing something wrong? Am I all of these worries then start to come to pass, start to bubble up, because all of these things you're kind of thinking about at the beginning, right? The reality of it is, all of these things are in your own head. Nobody else. Everything that happens to you is way more important to you than anybody else in the world. We're all the centers of our own universes, right? And everything that's happening seems like it's only happening to us and because of us and as a result of us. But we've spoken about one of my favorite words before, which is sonder, S-O-N-D-E-R, which I think is one of the most beautiful words and one of the most beautiful ideas, which is the intuitive understanding that everybody's life is just as complicated and unique and individual as your own. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those concepts that is so beautiful and eloquent because everybody intuitively understands it and everybody knows just how goddamn hard it is to really, really, really action that, right? Because the minute that we become emotional, all of a sudden we're snapped back into all of our lizard brain worry stuff.
Right.
And so this person who responded, you don't respond like that to somebody if you're in a good place, right?
Right.
You like that response is not a reflection on Peter's message. that response is a reflection on how this woman feels, which, to be honest, it's kind of sad. This woman actually needs support. Right. And Peter might not be the right person to do it, but, I hope that she gets the support because clearly she views herself that way. Mm-hmm. She views herself, I didn't see the picture, so I don't know who it is, but she views herself as being overweight. Like, you wouldn't.
It was really
she
interesting
doesn't consider.
Because, well, her choice of words was like, you're reaching out to people based on their profile pictures because you think they're fat. And we're here like, he reached out to everyone, right? It's like, but she doesn't know that, and so her assumption jumps into what the story in her own head is.
Yes,
right.
Such a great point, Keto. Such a great point because
I just took 10 minutes trying to say that, but yeah, good job.
right. Because let me tell you guys out there, like, I don't know if any potential clients listen to this, but we're messaging during it, like, we just don't have the ability to dive that deep into your profile if we're reaching back out, thanking you for comments or thanking you for, interacting with our messages or our content. Like, I can assure you that somewhere in the 150, Peter was not clicking on profile pictures, taking out a tape measure and saying, oh, this one's about the right side. Like, that did not happen.
Exactly.
That's definitely in her head. And I didn't even think about it from that perspective, Jonathan, when I read his post. But it is a real pain point. Like in the South, and I don't know if Amber's ever heard this term, but we use the phrase, a hit dog will always holler. Have you ever heard that, Amber? Okay. So maybe it's a North Carolina thing, or maybe I'm just way more country than Amber. I am wearing cowboy boots right now, and I'm stepping in horse shit that I have farmed in because I didn't have any in my apartment. It makes sense when you think about it that way. But in any case, the thought of that is that if you throw a stone into a pack of dogs, the only one that will yelp is the one that you hit. The correlation there is that if you make a broad statement, the person that responds most reactively to it is probably the person that self-identifies in that way. So if I just randomly said, you guys need to stop stealing, and Amber was like, you don't tell me what to do, and I earn my stuff and I don't take things from people, I'm pretty sure Amber's the person that has stolen stuff. Does that make sense? And that's sort of what happened in this case. He's just communicating in a group of people, and one person just feels so attacked by it. It's the internet phrase, right? I feel attacked. From it. It's probably a lot like Jonathan felt after 6 years of rejection from Dr. Allison. But I digress. So in that case, we have a very specific situation that we can discuss. But what I'd like to ask the panel of experts here, well, the people that are here, at least I'll ask them the question. In terms of just generally how you view the, I don't want to use the word emotional because I don't want to keep Jonathan from answering. So how do you view the internal dialogue? How we view the internal dialogue?
That was the greatest Canadian passive aggressive insult.
You're welcome.
It took me a second.
How we sort of all view our own internal dialogue of when things sort of don't seem to be working out. And the reason I brought this up, and we talked about this in the Slack channel, talking through the OTA student, thing, and as Amber and I are coaching students, I get a lot of energy from students that I tried something, it didn't work, or it didn't work yet, or it's not happening for me. A lot of comparison. And I really believe that they think that on whatever level they believe we exist on in business, that we just do these processes and snap, snap, snap. It just works, because we know all about it, Amber's never gotten on the phone with somebody and they didn't want to enroll because she knows she coaches me on my scripts and I think maybe we don't connect enough that way with the students for them to understand that we've learned the behavior of accepting the temporary learning experience. We take in that data, adjust, sort of keep moving forward. Would anyone like to speak to that sort of topic for the folks out there in podcast land? Keto, you got some stuff?
Well,
Carol, you've always got some good stuff here.
Well, it cracks me up because honestly, like, I feel that people don't realize that precisely because we went through all this shit that you were going through right now, it is that we are where we are today. Like,
Absolutely.
there is no, like, that is the actual reason why we ended up, like, we have continued our career and we have expanded and we have grown beyond all that stuff, because you start getting, you learn to get comfortable with the rejection and the no's, and you start seeing it as a numbers game, and you kind of like make it less personal to you, but then at the same time also identifying parts where there is actual legitimate feedback that can actually help you. And then putting that to practice. Like, it's an entire art form. I do not claim to have it down as a science. Like, I'm still very much learning and still very much getting rejected, but I'm cool with it. It's okay. And so that's the biggest takeaway for me from today. It's just like, get freaking comfortable, because guess what? This never goes away. Ha!
I just love how you said that with antlers on. Like, something about that took, it took the information up to another level that, quite frankly, I don't think our listeners deserve. So don't watch this on YouTube, because you guys don't deserve it. And Keto, she's tapped out. She's gone for the day. She's made her point.
She's done her thing.
Now she's disconnected. She's at the beach taking selfies right now in Miami. Amber, you're the only normal person here. Which you're the only non-lunatic that we have on this broadcast. Do you have some insight, some goodness, experiential goodness that you can share in this area?
I mean, for me, I mean, I certainly go through it as well. And especially in a lot of groups, and mom groups especially are brutal about a lot of stuff like this. So there's definitely kind of like the voices in your head that, make you stress out about how people will react. And for me, I've had to learn to, what's helped me is by thinking ahead and creating a canned response. If X happens, how do I want to respond? So that way I can take the emotion out of it, because I am absolutely the person that would like cry.
Right.
Unaware. If I wasn't expecting a response like that, it would absolutely mess me up. And so I have to plan for situations like that. And then once I've done that, it's let me pre-process any feelings I might have. And now I know how to respond appropriately without it hurting my feelings. And then just looking at it as data, like you mentioned, it has nothing to do with us, but more about them, and try to approach it with curiosity, just kind of like you would a bully, right? Like, it's not about you, but like, man, what's going on there? If you're feeling like that, like, ouch, like, that sucks that you're feeling that way. Like, now I want to help you even more,
Right. Sort of what's going on at home. So, Jonathan, you run a large organization that you built from scratch. Obviously, nothing's ever gone wrong in any context of building that along the way. It's been perfect at every step.
It's been super easy.
Students never complain on your own messaging boards and in your groups about how they don't have their books yet, and what a waste it is that they've signed up for the course. And I wish I had my books, but apparently Jonathan doesn't send books to people that live in my country. Like, I've never seen that happen ever. So how do you process, if difficulties ever arose in your business, which we've established they don't, how do you think you might handle those things hypothetically? Because it's really easy on your level.
I mean, books not arriving is like so tame of a problem of something going wrong. That
not even on the radar yet. I mean,
the stories I could tell, man, and I might tell some of them at one point on this podcast. Who knows? We'll see if they come up. There's two things I want to talk about that are completely unrelated. It's my podcast, so I get to do that.
That's it. That's all we want. And that's all we want, Jonathan.
The first is that odds are pretty good that anybody who's in a position that you aspire to be in has worked way harder for way longer and gone through way more shit than you could ever imagine and that you will ever see.
It isn't. So, and I don't forget your second thought, but I have to interject this. Isn't that the coaching equation? Though, isn't the coaching equation the person on the coach you side has been through way more shit, way more difficult, and been doing it way longer just to have the ability to coach you on this situation? Like, isn't that fairly standard?
Think about what it actually takes to get into any kind of position that anybody else would aspire to be in, whether it's a fitness level, whether it's a business level. The amount of small daily habits, the amount of small weekly things that nobody sees that are so hard to get yourself up to do every single day, the amount of reasons that are going to pull you away from it on any given day, nobody talks about. Right. And it would be gloriously uninteresting to talk about because it's like, oh, yeah, no, I did this again this morning. You know, that's what I do every morning. I wake up before my family and I go and work out when it's still dark. And then I get back and my wife and I switch off and then she goes and works out. Like I'm not going to talk about these things. Right. But I can tell you that I would really rather sleep in.
Right.
But then I wouldn't have enough time to do everything that I'd want to do. Then I, wouldn't be in good health and have the energy to be there for the people I love and, feel good with my shirt on and all that other stuff. And so I think it's just really important to keep that in mind. Like whatever you see in front of you is such a tiny subsection. And I think we all kind of intuitively know this. But it's really, really, it just needs to be repeated over and over and over and over again. I mean, if you feel like you're working really hard and not getting anywhere, pay really good attention to just small daily growth and start to really enjoy that. And it helps me to journal and just write. Like my journal literally starts with a single prompt every morning, which is, how you feeling today, dude? Question mark. Right. And what did I talk about yesterday? Well, I talked to myself about how last week being sick was, I never get sick. Like I'm the guy who goes to my doctor once every 10 years and he's like, yeah, you're good. Right. And then I go away. Right. So being sick last week, I mean, really, I think that was probably the first time that I was sick, like laid out in, years. And that's partly lucky. I mean, genetics. That's also partly because I take care of myself really well. I make sure that I sleep well. I exercise every day. I don't drink really. Like I eat vegetables other than, not like Carol's kids. Right. And so
the scurvy kids.
No scurvy here. My teeth are fine. But I reflected when I was writing in the morning just how hard it was when I was sick and now getting back into a routine after being sick. Yeah. Because I feel like I was working so hard and in such a good routine before I was sick, pushing forward, getting ahead, getting better. And now being sick has pushed me back a few weeks. And now all of the hard work that I'm going to be doing is going to get me back to the point that I started at. And psychologically, that's a really difficult stage to be at.
Absolutely.
And so writing that down and coming to that awareness doesn't make it better. I mean, it still kind of sucks, right? Like I'd rather the hard workout that I did this morning, I'd rather like push me forward, but it gave me permission to say in my workout, okay, well, I'm not going to crank the weight, right? Like my goal is to get back to where I was and just to kind of understand that. So I think that's really important. The second is you should be really aggressive asking for what you want. Like you deserve it. You're working hard.
100%.
You're a good person. Like you should be very aggressive asking for what you want. And if you're not hearing no multiple times a day, you are not asking anywhere close enough.
Absolutely.
Because if you never hear no, you never know how many times you might have heard yes.
Oh, there's the quote card.
And so there's a quote card. And so you need to make sure that you're aggressively asking for what you want, even in ways that scares you. A yes response is obviously good. A no response is also good, because it means that you asked, right?
Right.
And then you could take lessons and say, okay, well, like, where could I maybe have asked better, or maybe added more value to this person beforehand so that no might have been a yes. Like there's some reflection in that. A non-response is the only unacceptable response. And so there are ways to, if there's a non-response, there are ways to strategically say, look, like, totally fine if you can't do this right now. Absolutely nothing against that. But please, like a no is just as good as a yes here. Like,
Absolutely.
Make it okay for somebody to say no, because a lot of the time people feel awkward, say no, so they don't respond, and then you have no idea where you're at in the equation, and then your brain starts making up all of these things and starts telling yourself all of these. Did I screw up? Does this person hate me? What did I do wrong? Oh my God, I can't do that ever again. Whereas the reality of it is, it might just not be right for them that day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just felt awkward saying no. So be aggressive asking. I mean, a lot of why I've been able to build the business that I have now, and why we're going to keep growing year after year after year. I mean, we had a good year this year. We're going to have a tremendous year next year. Things are lined up in better ways than they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the reason for that is because I still ask. And people say no to me a lot. Professionally, people say no to me, right? And that's totally cool. Hey, man, was wondering if you wanted to work on this project together. Nah, I'm good. All right, bro. See you Wednesday. Like, that's, I mean, not quite like that. Obviously, I try to sell them on it a bit more. But that's good.
I want to make a parallel here that honestly, like what fit pros, like us as professionals, like what we do to ourselves when we receive a no is totally comparable to what our clients do when they step on the scale and they find that that number has gone up. Because what happens is, like, when a client steps on the scale and they gain weight, what happens? Their train of thought is immediately like, what am I doing? I'm failing. I messed it up. I can't believe it. Oh my God, I'm doing this again. How could I, blah. And then their entire day, their entire week, their entire month can go to crap because of one single piece of data that told them something they didn't want to see because it unraveled the story. So here the same, when you receive a no, are you allowing for that single piece of data to unravel a story in your head about who you are as a professional, as a business person, as a successful coach? Like, then catch yourself. And because that's what you would tell a client, right? This does not define you. This is just a piece of information. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person. The same for you, coach.
That's a great comparison. About who you are. I like talking to coaches about fitness comparisons because they seem to get it right away. Like, so a lot of my analogies sort of come through exercise training because the repetitions are necessary, and failure is the point at which you learn sort of what your level of strength is, right? What your level of endurance is. It's just the failure rep is just the rep to tell you, what to be excited about next time when you work out. Oh, I made it to 10. It was only 9 next time. Awesome. Like that's what the last rep is for, really. Yeah. It's, you don't set a set of, barbell curls for, 10 repetitions and get to 9 and then say, oh man, I'm gonna quit curling. Like, I'm no good at this. I might as well stop curling. Like, no need. So we got curls again on the docket this now. No, man, actually last time I only made it to 9. I'm just out of the curling biz, bro. Like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Like if you do, I don't care how hard it was. Like if you did 30 seconds of something last week, you're going to do 35 seconds this week.
Absolutely. It's just
like, I don't care how hard it is. Like that's just how
it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. You're going to succeed or you're going to quit. That's it. And you have to have that mentality. You're either going to succeed or you're going to quit asking questions. You're going to succeed in your business or you're going to quit asking people to buy your services. You're going to succeed or you're going to quit learning. You're going to succeed or you're going to quit interacting with colleagues. Like you're only going to, there are only 2 things that are going to happen. You're going to succeed or you're going to quit. It's just very rare that people get their mind set on some business thing. And especially with a well-structured program what we're able to offer in this context. You just gotta learn how to not be so frightened. That I read a quote that said the win you so desperately want is tucked behind the loss that you're too scared to take. And man, that's religion for me. You got to be willing to take that perceived loss to get that win.
Wow.
But we've all been through it, man. I can guarantee you that right now at this point, as we are recording this podcast, every single person that you've heard today has 1 to 3 issues that they are wrecking their brain to solve. There's 1 to 3 things for each of us that we are trying to figure out that didn't quite go like we wanted or hasn't really panned out yet. And the only differentiation is that we're just going to keep going because we have a history that tells us that every time we kept going, we figured it out. So you need to be able to develop that muscle so you can have confidence in yourself.
Everything that I have that I value in my life right now, I have because I worked through tremendous amounts of rejection over prolonged periods of time. I mean, Ren's joked a few times because he knows the story. It took 6 years to convince my wife to go on a date with me.
Right.
Think about that.
Right.
Right.
But he said my wife today.
Love it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Allison never thought that she'd be with a short guy or a white guy.
And she got a bonus. She got a 2-for-1 special.
She got a 2-for-1 special. Right?
Oh my gosh. Oh, this makes me so happy.
How do you get the girl when you're not her type in any way? You just keep asking, man.
You be nice. Be nice and keep asking.
You just be nice.
Millhouse your way to it. So I had to pause so I could wait for that one to land. But it came in. It hit the strip. It hit the landing pad after a few seconds. So I hope that you guys get this is an important episode to me. Can I say that? Is it okay for me to take ownership of the importance of this episode in my mind? I feel like this is important for me. Because I don't like to see good people. I don't like to see good people question themselves to the point where they stop something that's their purpose to do. I hear the way these coaches talk about helping people and fitness. This is your purpose. And you can't go back and work in a cubicle and be okay. Don't let fear introduce you to regret in 20 years, right? You've got a purpose thing that you're supposed to be doing. People are going to tell you no. Just blow through that, and maybe you can marry a doctor. I think that's the real lesson here today. So we got anything else? Anything else we need to talk about? Are we moving on? Are we done here? We've done it all? Okay. Kendall, thank you so much for your antlers. It's just amazing. It took the whole podcast up a level. And Jonathan, thank you for no longer being sick. It was rough, because I was disinfecting my computer after every podcast last week. I didn't know how you got it or kind of do.
You guys shouldered the load on that one.
Yeah.
We're done until after Christmas, right? Yeah. We're not recording on Thursday. All right. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you. And show notes, onlinetrainer.com/podcast. Jingle, jingle, jingle all the way.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.